What's up guys, today we're going to be going over the Lord of Wolves, which just received a buff last week for PvE, and it got disabled the same day because the buff was applying to all of your weapons when you had the perk procced, and not only the Lord of Wolves, but is now re-enabled as of yesterday or today when I'm making this video. And we're going to be going over its DPS numbers, total damage output, comparing it to a few different things, and seeing if it's good and worth using or not. And I'm kind of excited about this buff because Lord of Wolves has been pretty good in PvE for quite a lot of Destiny 2's history. It was kind of always an underrated pick and always had really good numbers, so it's gonna be interesting to see how it is now with the most recent buffs. And before we get into all that good stuff, a quick word from today's video sponsor. This video was sponsored by HelloFresh. Savor every last second of summer with HelloFresh. HelloFresh delivers fresh, quality produce from the farm to your front door in less than a week, allowing you to enjoy the delicious flavors of the seasons right from your home. With a vast menu option, you'll be able to find something that you will like or will fit your needs. HelloFresh's newest menu release includes Mediterranean recipes filled with fresh fruit and veggies, nuts, olive oils, and fiber-packed whole grains for a balanced meal. And even if you're a picky eater or you have a kid around, they have a line of kid-friendly recipes which will be perfect for busy families looking to try something new. And all of HelloFresh's meals are foolproof, with step-by-step recipes, making it an easy, joyful cooking experience from your home, all while being healthier, cheaper, producing less waste, and having more flavor than anything you can make from the grocery store or even from restaurants. So if you're ready to start using HelloFresh today, use my link or go to hellofresh.com and use code POGAIROCT65 for 65% off plus free shipping on your first box. Once you click, my description will live update to count up the purchases. Once again, that is hellofresh.com and code POGAIROCT65. Thanks to HelloFresh for sponsoring today's video. So looking at the Lord of Wolves, first the exotic perk fires a powerful short-range burst of sword damage, then release the wolves. You hold reload to swap between firing modes. It also has a catalyst, which will give it some more reload speed with the perk procced. But if you look at the buffs to it last week that are now re-enabled today, when Release the Wolves is active, they remove the previous 25% buff to its damage, but now added 40% for PvE, and remove the 50% crit hit multiplier penalty, which should be a pretty large change, and also fires full auto now. So heading into the game and seeing what all of that means, first you can just freely change between Release the Wolves and the base burst, which has been in the game for quite a while, and they both are going to be a 5-round burst. The big notable difference is with Release the Wolves, if you hold down the trigger, it will just shoot forever full auto, and it will just be a lot quicker. But both versions are 5 rounds, which is kind of interesting because why would you just like never use Release the Wolves in PvE? Why would you ever use like the base one? But look at damage increase. So first without Release the Wolves, it's like for these numbers right here. Then for the Release the Wolves, just hold reload. And now it's gonna be for these numbers, which is gonna be that 40% buff that the patch notes said is now active in PvE. But once again, why is there 2 different versions of this weapon? Why would you just never not use Release the Wolves in PvE? It doesn't quite make sense. It kind of makes the base shot kind of redundant to even exist in PvE. One thing that is very notable about this weapon is when you shoot it full auto, good luck hitting all crits. You definitely will need something like Div, or you're just gonna be missing a lot of your shots. And this weapon also has a very drastic damage drop off. Like once you're outside of that range, you basically don't do damage, so it's definitely gonna be a close range weapon. Even though it's kind of like a burst pulse, you definitely still have to be extremely close, which makes it so for a lot of situations you definitely will need Div to be able to hit all your crits, which are going to be very important. The crits are a huge damage increase. Then for the range, unless you want to be on top of the boss, you're going to want Lunafaction boots for that double range while standing in an Empowering Rift or a well. And the good news is both these things are very common to use in DPS phases, so you should have them most of the time. So with that stuff in mind, looking at the DPS of this weapon, 1 mag and 2 mag, it's going to be very quick in terms of rate of fire and the reload. So 2 mags just takes just over 5 seconds, which means DPS of 1 mag is 122,000, and over 2 mags it still is almost 100,000, which is extremely high. And the only downside of this weapon really is its reserves. With no reserve perks you hold 120, but this weapon doesn't even work with reserves anyways. With double it's still 120, so the total damage output is going to be just about 1 million, which isn't bad, but definitely not great for an exotic. But overall, those DPS numbers are not only high for a special, they're just high in general compared to some of the best options in the entire game. Higher than even the Cataclysm with bait and switch. I mean, these numbers are definitely the real deal. So I'm definitely interested to see what this thing can do in a fire team with everyone using it. My only question is the total reserves. There's probably a good chance, depending on the boss, that you'll just run out of ammo and they'll still be alive. But if I just compare its numbers to the best slug in the game, the No Reprieve with Surrounded, I mean, as you see, the Lord of Wolves is way higher for both 1 mag and 2 mag by almost like 40,000, right? It really isn't even that close. The only negative thing I can really say about the Lord of Wolves is for like general play before a boss fight, it kind of feels clunky. So for like majors or even mini bosses, ultras, whatever it is, obviously you're not going to be using div on every single major or even mini boss, right? Or you just might not be in a fire team with someone using div, and in those situations it does feel pretty bad to use because most of your shots will not be crits. Obviously it's very hard to control, so you're not going to be reaching those numbers that we showed off. You're only going to be reaching those with div and if you're in range. But with the right setup in the right situation where you have div, you have Lunafaction for more range, like most team-based boss fights are, you know, these numbers are definitely legit, some of the best in the game. In terms of burst DPS, this scene will definitely be among the highest in the game. It's just really a question of if you have enough ammo. But with it being a special weapon, all you have to do is put on a legendary linear and finish the boss fight with that. And even for the ammo concerns, it's really not that big of a deal. You just follow up with a linear. So yeah, the Lord of Wolves is definitely the real deal. And yeah, I think that's gonna be it for the video. Let me know what you think about it down below. Like usual, thanks for watching. Catch you guys next time.